is up, y'all? So I am so excited because we're talking more purity. We're talking all things heart related and the issues of our hearts, and we're going to be talking about David and all of this good stuff. So if you want to continue watching, stay tuned for the rest of this video. So y'all, I promised that we would dig a little bit deeper as it pertained to purity. So I want to discuss purity as a heart condition. I know when we think of purity, we think of the physical things, we think of sex, we think of having sex before marriage and how it's not right, how you should wait, and yada yada yada. But let's get back to the basics of things, right? So I want to go to Proverbs. Let's go to Proverbs 4 verse 23. Guard your heart above all else, for it determines the course of your life. Before everything else, before anything, guard your heart, for it determines the course, the trajectory, the path of your life. Y'all, your heart is a serious matter and it's nothing to be taken lightly. I want to talk about the man who was after God's own heart, David. We all know that David was a man after God's own heart. But if we go back to 2 Samuel, we see that the man who was after God's own heart, even he slipped up, y'all. He was messing around with Bathsheba, and it was, read your Bible, it's really juicy, I promise you. David slipped up. David has sinned. The Lord was not pleased at all. When David realized this, he was heartbroken. He was like, no, God, I want to get right. I want to do right by you, Lord. So then he comes with this prayer. And I love this prayer so much because it's a prayer of repentance. It's a repair. I can't talk today. A prayer of repentance. Let's read Psalm 51. I'm going to read verse 7 and 10. So here it reads, purge me with hyssop. I don't know if I said that right. And I shall be clean. Wash me and I shall be whiter than snow. 10. Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me. He had to admit first, which he did, that he had sinned. Lord, I admit that I have sinned before you. I know that you are not pleased. Lord, I'm not happy about this. Like, I want to change. I need you. And I love how he said, create. He said, create in me a clean heart. Create. When I think of that, I go back to Genesis 1:1. When God created the heavens and the earth. That's the first time that the word create was ever mentioned in the Bible. So that's saying the one and only God he's the only one who can clean me and cleanse me of all of my wrongdoings, all of my sins, all of my shortcomings, right? So he's asking God to create in him a clean heart. And I just love that little part, it frees me. It blesses me so much. Create in me a clean heart. Create in me a clean heart. God can take our dirtiness. God can take anything, the word, like I said, if you read the blog post, and I go into more detail, but when we look at purity and its definition, it correlates to the word contaminate. And contaminate means to make impure. So he can take our contaminated hearts, whatever has been tainted and whatever has been polluted and just our nastiness, he can take that and he can cleanse us. He can create, because he is the creator. He can take us and make us whole again. He can purify us. So why is having a pure heart so important? Like, why does that even matter? Well, Luke 6:45 tells us, for the mouth speaks what the heart is full of. So what we do, what we say, that is translated from what's in our hearts. Out of our hearts everything that we do, every decision that we make, everything that we say first comes from what's in our heart. What is your heart full of? And that's the question that I feel like we daily we have to ask ourselves. What is our heart full of? Is it full of things that we have been watching, things that we've been listening to, insecurities, doubt, fear? What is it? A lot of things, us unknowingly, we go throughout our days and we listen to certain things, whether it be music, conversations, our eyes, we watch certain things, we see things in the world that's happening, and if we're not careful and we're not guarding those gates, then that can come in and contaminate our hearts. That can come in and affect our decision making. That can come in our hearts and affect what we say aloud, what we say to certain situations. We're dealing with difficult times right now. There's things that we're watching on the news, and we could be watching these things, and if not careful, the things that are happening in the world and what we see on the news, that can come in and contaminate our hearts because it's placing fear in us. When fear is in our heart is contaminated. So that is why each and every day we have to ask God, we have to pray the same prayer that David said. Create in me a clean heart and renew. It's a renewing of the mind. Renew a right spirit within me. That's a daily choice, a daily decision. And as far as temptation, we are sinful creatures. We sin every single day. No one is perfect. So I'm not saying that by being pure, you're like holier than thou. You can do no wrong. No. Even David said he was born into this. He was born into sin, which is true. We all are. But he knows that God is the only one who can cleanse him and create him a clean heart and a new spirit, a right spirit that's in right standing with God. So yes, even when temptation comes, because it will come, because like I said, we're not perfect, we have the authority through Christ to overcome every temptation that comes our way. We don't have to stay in a place of shame where we feel like because we've messed up so bad that there's no coming back from this. No, that's a lie. You can slip. Even if you slip up, you can still walk in and turn from that. Repentance. You can turn. Repentance literally means to turn from. You can turn from that and continue to walk a pure lifestyle. It doesn't have to be anything super deep. It's just the knowing of who God is and what he requires out of you as a child. So with that being said, you guys, like I said, whether you're watching this on YouTube or you're over here on the blog, I encourage you to read the post, write down the scriptures, go read them for yourselves, and just be encouraged and know that no matter what temptation comes your way, you can overcome these things. By the renewing of your mind and asking God to create a clean heart within you, you can live a life pleasing to God. It is possible to live out a pure lifestyle. Not saying that you'll always get it right, but saying that every day, praying the same prayer David said. David said, create in me a steadfast spirit. Having that same heart posture, that same heart condition to want to do right by God. It is possible, I promise you. And you're not alone. We all get tempted. I get tempted. Whatever your thing is, we all have something that we are dealing with. But I thank God that he has given us the power to overcome these things. That being said, DM me on Instagram if you want to stay connected, and if you have any questions, also feel free to email me and let's chat. What do you need prayer for? What are you going through? How is your day? I just want to open that communication up to you all, and I will see you next time.